Now, this is Omar. I'm back with another video. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to give thanks to those who actually enjoy watching my videos. I came across a couple people over the weekend. Shout out to Ray, who I talked with over the weekend. Shout out to Renee Stegman, who I ran into at the Sunset Bowling Alley over the weekend. Just came across a couple people that enjoy watching my videos. I appreciate the time that y'all able to watch the videos and absorb some of the content that I put out there. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna just go ahead and just let y'all know right out the gate, I'm dropping ether today. It's been a while since I actually went in on my videos, so I'm just letting you know right now, I'm dropping some ether today. So if you can't take the heat, then you just go ahead and get out the kitchen, as far as I'm concerned. Today I want to talk about having good conversation in the form of a question. How good is your conversation? Yes, I'm talking to you. How good is your conversation? And we're going to go into that. We're going to talk about what exactly is good conversation, why is it important, and some ways that you can help improve your conversation. So what is having good conversation? We're talking about good conversation, good verbal skills, having a strong, crisp mouthpiece. I just want to give you some examples just to start off with. You ever come across those people that just are fun to talk to, that they just makes the conversation that much more interesting? That's an example of having good conversation. You come across those people who, when they explain something, they just make things that much more clear after they say what they have said. That's an example of having a good mouthpiece. Okay, you guys following along? Are you getting the gist of it? You ever come across those people who are very matter of fact, very straight to the point? They know what they're talking about because they've done their homework, they've done their research. That's an example of having a good mouthpiece. So those are all examples of what it means to have those good verbal skills, having that strong mouthpiece. Now, you might say, okay, well, why is having a good mouthpiece that important? I'm going to tell you why. Think about it. Handling business. We talk about handling business. That could be anything from job interviews, having meetings with a financial advisor or something like that. Having like a committee meeting where you guys are getting ready to plan some type of event, plan some kind of venture that you're getting ready to take part of. When it comes to handling business, you need to have a crisp mouthpiece. You got to be able to have some things that you bring to the table, asking the right kind of questions, sharing ideas, bouncing ideas back and forth so y'all can get stuff done when it's all said and done. You see what I'm saying? So that's one area why it's important to have a crisp mouthpiece. Being in any kind of leadership role, I want y'all to think about something. Look at our former president of the United States, right? And then you look out to the community, those who are, who are teachers, those who are coaches, or chairmen in a certain kind of committee that's in charge of the committee. You notice that one trait that they all have in common? All of them have a crisp mouthpiece. You ever notice that? All of them have a crisp mouthpiece. Being able to motivate people, being able to inspire people. When people ask them questions, they're able to answer those questions in a way where they're able to understand. They're able to break stuff down. So that's another reason why it's important to have a good mouthpiece. Is that it can open some doors for you in order for you to get into some of these leadership roles. And you're able to excel thereby. When it comes down to when you out there in social spots, when it comes to dating, relationships, you think not having a good mouthpiece is important? I want to talk to my guys out there because I'm gonna touch bases with the guys and the women today. So I'm gonna start with the guys first. Now I'm gonna take myself for instance. Now I know I know that there are guys out there who have more money than me for right now. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. You know, I'm trying to save. I'm trying to, get my asset column up. Do what I can, pay my bills and all that. But I know there's guys that have more money than me. I know those guys out there who women would say may look better than me. I know that's subjective, but I'm willing to be okay with that as well. But if there's one aspect that I have an advantage, it's the conversation. I'm telling you, good conversation is rare these days. So that can be a advantage to you guys to help separate you from a lot of the other guys that's out there. You see what I'm saying? Check this out. I come across women at church, right? I come across women at work, at the job. And it's funny because when I tell them my age, they say, oh, you're still a baby. Oh, you're so young. And it's like, okay. Since I'm still a baby, since I'm still young, let's me and you sit down and have a discussion about something. Oh yeah, we're going to see who's old and who's young in a minute. Let's sit down and have a discussion about something. Y'all see what I'm saying? You got to have that kind of attitude. Like, look, I'm going to tell you something right now. You messing with the wrong one. And you about to find out shortly. Let's just sit down. Let's just have a discussion about something. So having a good mouthpiece is very important because it's going to separate you from the rest of the crowd. Ladies, y'all think it's not important for you to have a good mouthpiece too? I know a lot of y'all think, well, the guy's just going to be doing all the talking, so I can just sit here and just look pretty. You got to bring good conversation to the table too. This is something that I touched on when I put up a post about a couple days ago. How you have those women who are 9 and 10 in looks, but their conversation, their attitudes at a 5. I could tell some of y'all don't have good conversation just by some of the things that y'all post on your timeline. I'm sitting there just scrolling through the news feed, scrolling through the page, and I'm looking at some of these posts like, what are they talking about? Why they even put that there? That's not interesting to me. Putting everyday things that happen to them. That's not interesting at all. Your conversation is at a 5. If I happen to rate it from a scale from 1 to 10, it'd be at a 5. And it's those who are below a 5 because they need to step their conversation up. So y'all got to bring some good conversation to the table as well. Because that's going to make you overall wifey material. So I just want to cover the basics of what it means to have good conversation and why it's important. So now what y'all thinking, y'all want to ask, okay, well, what are some ways that I can develop my conversation? I can get my mouthpiece crisp. I'm going to give you some tips. Reading books. That's pretty self-explanatory right there. Reading books. There's all kind of information out there when it comes to books. Whatever you're interested in, you can read about it. And not only that, reading books, that helps strengthen your vocabulary. That helps expand your vocabulary so you can sprinkle that into those conversations that you're having. Another way is listening to other articulate speakers or being around other articulate speakers. I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. I listen to podcasts all the time. Podcasts on YouTube. Podcasts I got on my iPod. Podcasts I got on my PSP. I listen to podcasts. I listen to radio shows. I listen to guys preach. That's something that I'm around all the time. When it comes down to those radio shows and podcasts, I may not necessarily agree with everything they're saying, but it's just the way that they put the information out there and share their views. I have a lot of respect for that. So just being around more articulate people, that's going to rub off on you. Another thing, speak slowly. You got to speak slow sometimes. You notice how when people get ready to do a speech in front of a big crowd of people, they tend to get nervous. They tend to get that anxiety built up, so they start speaking really fast, and they kind of trip over their words, or they're able to say something you might not catch everything because they just trying to rush through it. Just speaking slowly, it helps you think before you speak. It gives you a more cool, confident demeanor, and you're able to enunciate all your words. So that way everybody can hear exactly what you're saying. So that's another way that you can help strengthen your conversation, strengthen your mouthpiece. Getting out the house, whether it's traveling, whether it's accomplishing a goal, start a new hobby. You want to know why a lot of y'all don't have good conversation? Because you ain't done nothing. You ain't been nowhere. You haven't accomplished anything. You haven't started anything new. So guess what? You have nothing interesting to talk about. That brings me back to when I'll be scrolling down my news feed and I'll be seeing some of the things that y'all post. I have to actually stop myself from commenting on some of these posts. Because I'm afraid that I have a tendency to go in on people. So I'm afraid that I might mess around and hurt somebody's feelings. Even though it's unintentional, I may hurt somebody's feelings because I tend to just be real direct and honest with it. So those are all ways that you can help improve your conversation, man. When it comes down to the dating and relationships, you ain't even got to worry about being nervous on a date, being unsure of yourself. I know the conversation's going to be good. I know she's going to have a good time. That's going to alleviate all the pressure off me. So those are all ways that you can help improve your conversation. Wow. I think I said a mouthful today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm out.